Timberborn Update 5 brings some new amazing features, but also some new tough challenges. And in this video I will share with you some tips and strategies on how to survive these new challenges as Folktail faction. Also, don't forget to subscribe, because the next video will be about surviving as Iron Teeth faction. So let's jump in and let me show you my strategies. Alright, so this is my world. Let's take a look around and see what we have. First, we have regular water. Flows all the way through our city and ends up down here. Then we have some bad water. It's in one of the corners and it's flowing straight down to the end of the map. We also have one more side with bad water, and as you can see, it flows on the side and all the way out. So these bad water source blocks will not affect our world at all, but we have bad tide season that should be out very soon. And if you don't know, what bad season does is actually transform the water source blocks and the water it's releasing into bad water. All of this will be bad water. That's an issue, because if you haven't seen my earlier video, you might not know that bad water kills everything in the 6-7 block area instantly. So if bad water flows here, all of these trees will die in few seconds. So you might not think that tree is actually bad because you can still cut them down. But think about the food, think about the dandelions. It all dies within seconds and you don't have food at all for the whole season. And then when the normal season comes back, you actually have to plant it, wait a few days and then get food. So it's a big challenge. So how do we stop that from happening? What options do we have? First, we have a thing called contamination barrier. So for example here, we have to remove all these trees which are on the edge here. All the carrots, all the potatoes and all of that, and build up contamination barriers. So let's do that. Let's ask our beavers to cut down all of this like that. Also, I do not want them to actually replant any of this, so something like that. Let's get over to this side as well. Perfect, they are cutting down the trees here. Now I have to say something here. When you have path or water pump that's on the edge, you have two choices. You can let it stay here, and the consequences of that is that the bad water that sort of touches the ground here, it will spread in the 6-7 block area. So right here it will affect this area, and all this food will stop growing until the season is over. And if we had the power shafts on this side, we couldn't protect that. There is a way around this. That's actually just having, let's see here, contamination barrier, for example, right down there, and you add a platform on top of it and have stair. So now we are protected, and we are also having a path above it. And for water pumps there is also a way around that. So let's remove this one, and now let's build up. I'm gonna use the small water pump, but it works the same way as with the big one. So we have the platform here. Let's bring the water pump, spin it around, and as you can see, the water pump has 2 deeps pump, and now we can just create one of these. As you can see, we have the contamination barrier under it that protects the ground, and water pump and pathway around as it should be. I've sped things up a bit, and as you can see, I have barriers all the way around, and I only have barriers on the side where I have my plants. So I have some potatoes, some carrots, some pine trees, and on this side I have some dandelions and berries. But on the other side I don't have any contamination barriers, because even though the ground will look like this, it's dried out and some red lines, it doesn't affect anything. So it just looks unpleasant. And if you didn't know, it's only the bad water that's dangerous for your beavers. So for example, if your beavers were to stand right here, nothing would happen to him. But if your beaver was to swim in the bad water, for example, to come get over here on this side, then he will be contaminated and die faster, also stop working but still eating food and drink water as a normal beaver. And here we have bad season is here. Let's see, this is the bad water coming. Let's speed things up a bit. As you can see, it's all dried out, and now it has the sort of red stuff here. Now let's pause here. So you see these trees, they are dying, but they are dying in 12 days. That means this is just a regular dry area. Let's zoom in here. You see, you do not see any red lines. It's just a dried area compared to the other side where we see the red lines. So this is all just a normal dried area. Let's see here, potatoes dies in 1 day. So it's pretty normal. And even here where we have our path and the water pump, all looks like dry land, nothing special. And this is what I told you earlier. In this area we do not have contamination barrier. So now the contamination will affect a circle of blocks. And here, this is a good example. These dandelions are affected because of the bad water right here. As you see, it will die in 0.1 day. But if we look at the dandelion that is not in the bad water or contaminated land, it will die in 8.2 days. And that's the difference. Now our beavers have time to actually pick up everything. If the area is not contaminated, your beavers have a bunch of time to actually pick up the food or berries or dandelions compared to if the area is contaminated. Alright, let's try something here. Alright, so now I've changed things a bit here. As you can see, now the beavers have to go through the bad water. I want that so I can help you with the next challenge, which is how to cure contaminated beavers. Alright, so the bad season is now done and we right now have 4 unwell beavers. That means they are contaminated. Now, I wasn't clear earlier. Now, not all beavers that walk through the bad water will be contaminated. There is a percentage chance, just so you know. I know a bunch of beavers walk through the bad water here, and we only have 4 of them. So here we have Yara. These beavers spend too much time in contaminated water. It's fine for now, but will get sick in few days. And that's also good to know. They will work just normal for a few days, but then get sick and they won't be able to do anything. So what can you do about that? First, you need a farm with dandelions and blueberries. So when you have a thing like this set up, you can set up a herbalist. It was called medicine something in update 5. Now we have herbalist. And what herbalist does is takes blueberries with dandelions and some logs, and it will create antidote. And here we have a medium tank with antidote filled up, so we have the max 300. Now the beavers are contaminated and we have 4 of them. Let's go slowly here. So this is what they look like. They have some red spots on them. They walk really slow and then they don't work at all. So if you press, you will see you have -10 contamination. And if we go to a normal one, nothing. All looks good, all green, all plus. Once or a few times a day, they will come here to the herbalist or to the tank, get a bottle of antidote, drink it, and this will go down each time. So in few days, after they have taken something like 10 potions, they will be healthy again. And while they are contaminated, as I said, they will not work and they will eat as normal, but also they will not create any new babies. And the next challenge is actually water irrigation. Before, you can simply just collect water like I'm doing right here and be good, because this area wasn't affected by bad water. Now, because bad water kills everything, it mixes with regular water, as you can see here. Then this trick does not work anymore. So some of you know that you could use a hole, for example, like this, and then place a water dump, fluid dump. Let's see here, something like this. So as you can see, 1 block, 1 deep with 1 water dump doesn't actually do anything. You have 3 blocks maybe all the way around, and that's very useless. And they have also removed irrigation tower from the buildings. So what can we do? So the user on Reddit created a bunch of different tests and showed us what's possible. And as you can see, the best one to actually do is 3x3. So you have 3x3 water, and it will give you 16 block area on each end. Him and a few other people tried 4x4. That doesn't change anything. So 3x3 is actually the best. Let's come down here somewhere. Almost like we should... Let's remove this and this. Also, let's put up some dynamites right down here. Let's blow it up like that. Then we have fluid dump. So I'm gonna prepare it right here for our forest. Something like that. And let's just let the fluid dump does it work. Honestly, this looks like a pretty good area for more water dump. So let's clean it up a bit. There we go. And this is far from the best solution, but this is the solution devs gave us. So I have one that will cover most or hopefully all the forest and some farming. Then I have one on the side here that should cover everything else. And by the way, let's check our contaminated beavers. And if you remember, earlier the red line was about here, almost at 70-80%. Now, a few days later, it's down to, hey, look at that, it dropped even more. So now it's probably 1 or 2 potions away for them to be all healed up. Oh, and perfect, here is the next bad water. So let's see here. See, bad water comes in, but it's still green. The trees aren't dried out, and it all works. Perfect, well, except these 3. But that's okay. Now, the water solution, I don't like it. I don't know why it matters that we have 3x3, but I guess some sort of challenge. Now the water dump or the fluid dump will need to cover a bigger area, but it's, I don't know, kinda useless to me. But it does work really well. Now, as you can see, during the bad tide, it's all green, it all works, farming, logs, everything is okay. And we do not have any more contaminated beavers, which is just what we wanted. That is how you survive as Folktail faction. As you saw, some big challenges, but they're all very much doable. Thanks so much for watching. See you next week for the Iron Teeth survival guide.